Hi, my name's Doug Bentley, Head of Product Development. We're here today to talk about exhaust systems. First of all, I think it's really important to have a look at the market we operate in. There's actually around 35 million vehicles on the UK roads today, and that's increased every year since 1950. About 30 million are passenger cars and light commercial vehicles. In terms of numbers, the UK automotive aftermarket for car parts was estimated at around £2.5 billion annually. And as a slice of that, the UK aftermarket emissions segment is worth around 70 million. So if we take a look at that marketplace, why don't we look at a company specifically and look at Klarius. They produce around 1.5 million exhaust systems every year, around 50,000 catalytic converters, and do a great deal of distribution. That equates to around 6,500 exhausts delivered every day, around 250 catalytic converters, and 5,000 mountings. Next, well, let's understand how the exhaust system actually works. Look at things from an engineering perspective. We'll look for noise reduction, emission control, we need to protect the passengers, and control performance. So if we look through from the hot end through to the cold end, we can see the various components in the exhaust system. As we go through the products from the hot end to the cold end, the main components are the manifold, where the exhaust gases are collected, normally into a single pipe down the rest of the vehicle. And then we want to start looking at controlling some of the harmful emissions and cleaning them into less polluting emissions. For that, we'll use the catalytic converter and the diesel particulate filter. Finally, as we go through the middle and to the cold end of the exhaust system, we have the central and rear mufflers to control and reduce the noise and also control the back pressure of the vehicle. But as a garage or an end user, I'd be looking for different requirements. I'd be looking for quick fitment, a cost-effective solution. I'd be looking for relevant legislations to be met, and I'd want it to look something like the original equipment part. So how do we do these things in our manufacturing processes? Well, when we produce an exhaust system, it's really important that every single exhaust that's produced meets the original designed product that's been approved for production. We do that by controlling the products with a jig and a fixture and a prototype. When the prototype's been developed, every single product in the factory is produced in a metal fixture. We call this a jig. And these are there to ensure that the fit and shape of the product is identical for every single product. If we start to look at some of the individual components of the fixture, flanges for example, these are tightly clamped and controlled in orientation and position and rotation with dowels. Down the rest of the system, we may look at controlling the position of bends and the mounting points. For example, the chrome trim needs to be in exactly the right point for the cutout in the bumper. Again, we'll use gates to control this position exactly. Finally, the customer end positions. Here we need to control orientation, angle, and most importantly diameter. Male and female mandrels are used with a tolerance of 0.1 millimeters to ensure they're exactly the right diameter. So think about the design. How do we design the product to make sure that a replacement component is virtually identical to an original equipment? So we'll have a look at this example for a Golf Mark V. Some of the key characteristics, first of all, is the shape. All of the mounting points and the inlet position and outlet position have to be exactly interchangeable with the original. For the replacement market, we may make some improvements here. So rather than a separately stocked clamp being used, actually an extension has been put onto the replacement piece so that just a standard U-clamp can be used to join to the mating part. All of the key areas, like the mounting hooks and also the chrome trim, are in exactly the same position as the original. Whilst looking at the design, we can see very clearly in the picture that the mounting points, the inlet point and the outlet point are all exactly the same on the replacement as they are on the original equipment. During the development, it's also a great opportunity to make some improvements where maybe the original equipment product has an inherent design problem. If we look at this example on the Volvo V70 T5, during the life of the vehicle, the replacement exhaust is normally fitted maybe 3, 5, 7 years into the life of the vehicle. Some wear is normally in place on the vehicle. Maybe it's the engine mounts or the exhaust mounting points here. You can see the original doesn't fit very well at all. It's close on the transmission tunnel. It's close to the roll bar and there's poor tension on the rubber mountings. It's a great time for the replacement device to make improvements here. And you can see that the alignment's been corrected, the fitment's been improved, and the mountings have also been tensioned correctly. Let's talk about type approval. Type approval isn't actually required for exhaust systems in the UK market, but it's in place in most EU countries. The type approval is instantly recognisable. If you look on the external body of the muffler, you'll see some engravings or embossed numbers. Let's explain what they mean. First of all, there's an E number. The E number signifies the country where the testing was granted. E11, for example, is the UK. Some other countries may be E2 in France, E3 in Italy, E9 in Spain. And this shows which country has taken care of the original type approval testing. Next, there is a code that explains which amendment of the regulation the exhaust was tested to. The most recent is 05. Finally is a 4 or 5 digit code. This is traceable back to the original test data and a certificate. So seeing this number clearly marked on the product is a great reminder that this product's been type approved and tested independently by a government agency to meet or beat the original specifications. So just a quick summary of the independent testing that takes place. First of all, the replacement system has to be pre-aged before any testing can happen. Some durability equipment is used to age the system to be equivalent to around 12,000 miles or 1 year of usage. This aged piece is then used during the testing. Independent tests look at tailpipe noise, drive-by noise and back pressure. And in all these situations, the replacement system has to be comparable or better than the original equipment device. Here's how we do it. You can see the test track here from above. The test track's around 150 metres long and the square in the centre is where all of the vehicle testing takes place. For tailpipe measurements, we put the car in the centre of the test track and we measure the noise coming out of the exhaust. We compare the original equipment design to the replacement design. The replacement has to be the same or less. Next, we do the drive-by noise testing. Cars approach the square at 50 kilometres an hour with a tolerance of just plus or minus 1 kilometre. We test in gear 2 and gear 3 and take an average of both gears. We drive through the box in wide open throttle condition. This means the accelerator is foot to the floor and we measure at 7.5 metres either side of the vehicle to measure the loudest side and take a measurement. Again, the replacement device has to be the same or quieter than the original. So if we look at some of the differences between a non-approved, a budget exhaust system and a type-approved system. Well, in order to meet these test requirements for both noise and pressure, you'll usually see that a type-approved exhaust is quite complicated inside and has a number of pipes and baffle plates. These are there to direct the gas flow in as long a pattern as able, and also to correctly cool and quieten them down, but without having an adverse reaction on back pressure, because this can lead to poor fuel economy and high NOx, as we've seen in independent testing, and of course the VW scandal at the moment. What you typically see internally on a budget exhaust system is less materials, and very simply the internal tubing is normally crimped. This does actually reduce the noise, but normally adversely affects back pressure. As I said, we've seen in independent tests that this can lead to an increase in NOx emissions of up to 20 times. Externally, it's also very easy to see some compromises may have been made to reduce cost. Normally, the cutting point where the exhaust system mates to the next part has often been moved to make production easier, and simple things like the mounting brackets and hooks, the diameter could be reduced so it's more cost effective, cheaper. This normally doesn't fit the mountings correctly. So let's think about the benefits. Benefits to garages of using type-approved products. It's going to meet or beat original equipment standards. That means good quality materials are going to have been used, original equipment performance and quick fitment because it's actually been tested on a real vehicle in a workshop. And also benefits, you're going to have happy customers, a low returns rate and failure, you're going to have quicker fitment and less ramp time and more profitable job overall. Also, the product you'd expect to come with a warranty. Think about the benefits to the customer. Noise is going to be quiet. It's going to be like the original or quieter. Back pressure is going to be matched to the original equipment system. This will be great for fuel economy. It's going to be cheaper for the end user. And it's going to have been durability tested, so you know the product is going to last the lifetime of the warranty. It's going to have the correct performance for the vehicle. It's going to be a quick turnaround in the workshop, and you're going to have the customer reassured by using a warranted product. Okay, so we're going to give a quick summary of what makes a good exhaust. Firstly, I'd be looking for products that are made to original equipment specifications, and type approval is a great guarantee that that's been happening. You'd want it to fit first time, every time, and it should help your garage to make money and lead to happy customers that come back for repeat business. I'd also be looking for a company that offers great customer support and a technical helpline to help you when you need it most. So some of the things I'd be looking for from a supplier is great product availability, high market coverage from a large range of products, a stringent development procedure that's ensuring consistently and well-designed products, and I'd be looking for a rapid and wide new part development programme. Daily deliveries is also a great help. Thank you for listening. I hope you found it very informative.